Hi guys, I hope you love zombies as much as I do, and you'll have seen in a recent video, yeah, I printed up these lovely, well, gruesome looking people and the car, and painted them with the good old Green Stuff World Dippin' Inks as well. That's my favourite go-to paint at the moment. Good old bit of slap chop in here as well. So these lovely fellows and fellow S are from a recent Kickstarter by Kraken 3D Studios called Apocalypse Dawn. So link down below guys, go check them out. As what I love about this is it's an actual game you can play, but they have such a vast array of sort of terrain pieces that it would make for some awesome dioramas. As you can see, there's obviously the outside buildings, but they also have some insides of the buildings as well. And yeah, I hope to get hold of some of them STL files soon and be able to print and paint and, well, show them off to you guys. So I love printing and painting these guys and the vehicle you can see there. But one of the other vehicles that they do that I really like the idea of, and that's this, a great big bus. As I'm sure in every zombie film I've ever seen, there's always been a school bus that they've tried to escape in. Obviously, you've never gone quite as well as they planned, but there you go. So I was fortunate enough to get access to some early STLs, and yeah, downloaded them, and I'm going to print them off on my Sonic Mighty 8K by Frozen. You'll have seen me use this recently as well. It's a wonderful printer, and yeah, I've got it in my little shelving area. And you may well have seen, yeah, I cut the front off. As I'm always talking about in all my videos, I lack space, well, everywhere. So even with my little 3D printer area, I don't have the room to sort of lift the lid off the top. So yeah, I cut the front off. But there you go. So I did have a go at trying to do some time-lapse footage. Unfortunately, I set the camera up. It had plenty of time on it and battery life. But for some reason, it only captured about an hour's worth and then stopped. So alas, I can't show you too much of this because, well, it didn't capture it for some reason. God knows why. I will try again because I really want to do some time-lapse photography or videography, even though I do need to buy some, well, some better equipment to do it. So yeah, this took, I mean, this was a good 7 hours or more. Again, I've left the settings as is because it is still cold here in the UK. So I'd rather things printed off perfectly and slow rather than try and speed them up. But yeah, there you go. So it's been cured, washed, all the rest, and this is how it comes out. And yeah, it looks glorious. Love how it looks. So it's a nice size. It's fairly chunky. It is hollow on the inside, which is good because obviously it saves a whole lot of resin there. And yeah, time to paint it. So as I said, it's going to be a yellow bus. Rather than sort of priming it in black, I'm going to prime it in yellow. So yeah, good old yellow there. I'll leave links down below to the matte primer that I use by the Colour Forge, just because, well, it lives up to its name and it really dries a lovely matte colour. So painting wise, I want to sort of paint this, well, normally. That's why I'm not slap chopping it, because I want to distress it afterwards. So initially painting it, well, as neat and as tidy as I kind of can. And to be fair, there's not really too many colours in this. That's kind of why I wanted to sort of prime it, say, in the colour it mainly is, although it does kind of get covered up by, well, a ton of things, as you'll soon see. So that yellow kind of soon disappears. So there are a few sort of techniques and things I'm doing, well, that I've not done before in this sort of channel. And one of them, yeah, these windows, with the black paint, obviously it does sort of dry and looks very, well, dry and matte. So I want to make it look like there is glass here. So yeah, I'm using a little bit of UV resin, an old paintbrush, because obviously, well, the UV resin will completely cream cracker these. Yeah, just to say, I wanted the windows to have a bit of a shine to them, as though it was glass, rather than obviously the flat sort of matte paint. So yeah, cunning little plan here. UV resin, and then using the old ultraviolet light. It will instantly cure the resin and yeah, give it that sort of shine and hopefully glass sort of looking appearance. And you can see the big difference between them ones and the sort of resined ones, and yeah, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do, which is awesome. So I'll just go around and do the rest to all the other windows. And yeah, I'm pleased with how that's come out. And this is where obviously I love this hobby. There's always new things to try and, well, sort of overcome and have a go at. And yeah, that's definitely one of them. So with this, I kind of obviously, this bus, I really want to be a distressed looking bus. I want it to have some sort of graffiti on it. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at doing graffiti. And yeah, I was going to do like lots to this, although you'd have seen the initial picture and you'll see the roof has got a lot of graffiti on it. Well, there's a cunning plan to that. but we'll come to that near the end of the video. But the other thing I wanted to do, obviously, say this bus, post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, the first thing you're going to see is loads of flyers of missing people. Well, when we say missing people, I mean these people have been turned into zombies, or, well, a bit of lunch, really, I guess. Yeah, so went online, obviously go on Google, you can find whatever you're looking for. Well, eventually anyway, sometimes it might take a bit longer than others. So I went on there and looked up for missing people, but obviously I didn't want real pictures of real missing people, so I put in fake missing people. And yet some kind soul out there had already done a whole load of these sort of fake ones. To say, didn't want to use real people, obviously. So yeah, loads of images of fake missing people. And then yeah, just sticking them around the bus. Say, I wanted this bus to look like, well, people had sort of stuck up posters of their missing loved ones. Obviously never to be seen again because, yeah, as I say, they've either been eaten or turned into zombies probably. And then yeah, good old bit of PVA glue, just sticking these, well, all over the shop really. Some going on top of others because, well, some people are just going to stick them on top of others. And yeah, pleased with how say, it's all the little simple things that make things look so good. That's why I really did enjoy this project, because it really was kind of a case of building up with loads of layers of bits and pieces. And obviously the other good thing I think we would have in this is where a bit of the old A-team would come in. So any vehicle that does sort of work, you're going to try and kit it out and make it a bit more, well, zombie proof, I guess. So good old wire mesh over the windows just to help sort of, well, protect yourself from those, yeah, those bloodthirsty body eating zombies. So I had to think for a second here which side the driver sits on. Obviously this is an American bus, so yeah, the driver is going to sit on the left. Is that right? Yeah, we sit on the right, they sit on the left. Yeah. I had to think about it again. And then yeah, just went around the rest of the sort of bus, not filling every window in, because obviously, well, things are hard to come by, so we could only afford to barricade some of the windows. I had considered putting one of those like fly tipper things on the front, but then thought, well, not everyone's going to be able to get hold of one of them. So say this is where now obviously is a case of distressing this vehicle and making it look sort of pretty old, wrecked, and just, well, seen better days. So the first thing to do is good old wash over all the metallic looking areas. I'm not going to do it over the yellow areas just yet because, well, I want to rust them up. So yeah, doing the wash over pretty much all the metallic areas. And then I do go over some of those posters because, well, they've been there a while. Again, this is like post-apocalyptic. This thing could have been here 3 years, 5 years, however long it is. So I really want to make it look, well, yeah, rough, ready, and all the rest of it. So washes, I love washes. So all metal bits and, well, the posters. And there we go. So it's starting to look a little bit dirty now. But I want it to be, well, dirtier even more. And yeah, my go-to rust. It's always going to be dirty down. This stuff is just pure magic. Pure magic in a bottle. So you get it nice and neat, dab it on. Obviously I've got some water there just to sort of dilute certain areas. And because this helps make it streaky. So yeah, you get the old like rust lines streaking down. But as you can see, I'm really concentrating a lot on the bottom of the bus as well. I think this is where most of the rust would occur. Because obviously the damp coming up from the floor. But there is going to be some rust sort of, well, here, there and everywhere. But this is the great stuff I love about this dirty down rust. Being able to dilute it. So you really can have areas that are complete rust buckets. And other areas that, yeah, not so much. So there we go. It's looking good. Obviously all those posters I put on now look well and truly distressed. So I thought I'd go around and put like another layer on. Which again just adds to sort of, well, possibly the realism. As, yeah, people will keep sticking up posters here, there and everywhere until, well, until there's no real people left, I guess. If you are new here and like what I do, it'd be great if you could hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, as I am producing, well, a good 2-3 videos a week, as I'm just having so much fun with all of this. And I say, I'm trying out some new games, and whenever I try out a new game, yeah, I kind of get rather hooked rather quick. So you'll see a lot of, well, certain stuff coming up. And obviously zombies, well, I've always loved zombie movies, and in fact, there's a variety of zombie games out there, is just awesome. So again, just add into this vehicle to make it a bit more rough, ready. Yeah, some good old sort of barbed wire here and there, and loving how this is looking. say this dirty down rust, it's so easy to use. Obviously the big top bit, yeah, this is where I wanted to do some graffiti. I can't draw graffiti to save my life, so I'm going to go a bit cheating. I've printed something out, and I've seen somewhere that you can sort of transfer printed artwork onto other items simply by getting some PVA glue. Although this one, I haven't used it for a while, and there's a bit of a blockage in there somewhere. So yeah, take the lid off and just squeeze a lump out. So yeah, you get the PVA glue, possibly not quite that amount because it did drip a lot down the side and there's a ton there. And then yeah, so loads of PVA glue on whatever item it is you want to transfer your image onto. Again, this is one of these things where you can watch 100 people do it. The best way to do it is have a go yourself, and then you get a feel for it, and then you know whether or not you're putting too much on, too little on. Yeah, say practice really does make perfect, and you'll see in this, well, I cock up the first time, but as always, when I make mistakes, I leave them in, because that way it shows you what I did was wrong, and plus it shows me what I did was wrong. So even if I want to do this again, I can re-watch one of my own videos and I can see the right way of doing it. So at the moment, everything was going fine. It doesn't really matter that you put too much PVA on. All that means is you've got to wait a lot longer for it to dry. So it took a good hour or two, let it dry. And then what you do then is you get some water, put the water on the paper, and then slowly and carefully you sort of rub it. And what this then does is it pulls off, or well, it disintegrates the paper, and then just leaves you with the original print that was on the other side of the paper. So when I watch someone do this, obviously the main thing to do is slow and steady, and take a long time doing this, because obviously you're rubbing off the paper. So started off really well, really pleased with how it was going, and so you could see the paper sort of disintegrating and coming off to reveal, well, the image underneath. The only thing was, I then started getting a bit carried away and a bit excited, and started going a bit rougher and a bit rougher and a bit faster. And then unfortunately I started taking off the print, and as you can see, you'll start to see a lot of the yellow bus start to come through. And it was like, okay, yeah, I've got a bit too happy here, and started rubbing off too much. But I say, the fact this works so well, and you don't need any special paper, this was just me printing on a normal inkjet printer, normal paper, nothing special. But yeah, I did start to rub too hard, and then as you can see there, I can see more of the yellow bus, and it was like, oh man, I've messed up. So yeah, when you do this, the main thing to remember is go slow, go steady, take a long time, and don't rub too much off. So I could have left it and just done the rest of it, but it was like, well, no, this isn't how I wanted it. I wanted it to look good. So I thought, well, I'm going to take it all off and redo it. That's exactly what I did. So I have to admit though, it did take a long time then to like fully rub everything off, clean it all up, and then obviously reprint another one and get it ready. And well, it was obviously deja vu doing it all over again. But say for sometimes though, it is worth doing something. If you're not happy with it, don't leave it, because then, well, you'll never be happy with it. So yeah, I spent the time, took it all off, reprinted another one, put some more PVA glue on. Didn't get as much on this time, but say putting the amount of PVA glue wasn't the issue. More PVA glue just means it's going to take longer to dry. So yeah, I did put less on this time. Again, pushing it down. But this time, rather than waiting another couple of hours, because literally I was doing this last night, and so I wanted to get this video out today, which obviously it is out today, because, well, I hope so, because I'm recording the voice for it now. But yeah, because I wanted it to dry quicker, I thought I'd get my little heat gun, well, I say little, my big heat gun out, to heat it up. And obviously doing this heats the glue and makes it dry, well, so much quicker. Obviously you need to be careful here and not have it too hot or too near, as well you can burn the paper. So this heat gun I've got, yeah, I've got it on a medium setting, and it's, well, it's crazy hot. I think this one is meant for like the old paint stripping on wood and stuff. So yeah, this thing is super hot. So yeah, I was doing it again. So yeah, it's all dried. I've trimmed off the edges to try and make it a bit neater. And then say this time it was a case of I was definitely going to do it a lot slower, spend more time on it, and just say, yeah, gradually doing it, which is exactly what I did. So I have speeded this footage up now by quite a lot because, say, I did spend, I don't know, well, I say a long time, it's probably only about 5 minutes, I guess, doing this. Yeah, good old Banksy little picture at the front there. So yeah, so this time it really was a case of getting it really, well, again, you don't want to get it too wet. So this is where practice really makes perfect on this, because you want it wet, but not too wet. And you want to rub it, but not too hard. Yeah, so again, that's what I love about this hobby. It really is a case of, you can watch videos until you're blue in the face. Until you try yourself, you'll never know just quite how to do it. Especially when some people do it and I make it look so easy. Then you might have a go at doing it and it might take you 10 times to get it right. Bearing in mind that person you just watched may have taken 10 times to get it right. But yeah, love how this works. I say this is such a simple thing because there's no way I could have drawn or painted the graffiti on the top. But yeah, doing this, absolutely love it. Love how it came out, and we'll definitely be doing this sort of technique, well, again, wherever possible, I think, especially on buildings, because I want to do some, obviously, buildings with this. So yeah, that technique will be applying there. So yeah, it's come out good. Obviously, it's got a little bit sort of, well, it's not as vibrant as it was, which is probably to be expected. So then I thought I'll just go over the top with some PVA glue, just because this will give it a little bit of a shine, not too much. But obviously, it's another great way of sealing it in. So this way, when you touch it, it's not going to, well, it's not going to come off at all. But say I did it the second time, and yeah, I am really pleased with how this thing has come out, because yeah, I wanted this bus to be graffitied, but say I did have a go at sort of copying other people's graffiti, but no, I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, it was pants. So yeah, pleased with how this came out. And then the last thing I normally always do with any kind of vehicles or terrain that's got well, that's made of metal, that's to go around and just sort of do a bit of dry brushing just on the edges, just so it makes it look like, well, the metal has been sort of, well, the paint on top of the metal has been rubbed off. And again, this works really well on top of the rust as well. So it shows there's a bit of metal with the rust, and yeah, it's just a great way of finishing it off. And so this is my kind of go-to for any vehicles or terrain bits that's got metal in it or made of metal. And yeah, really simple, really easy. I just love how this thing came out. And there we go, one post-apocalyptic zombie bus. And I absolutely love it. So the rust on this, it makes you feel as though if you touch it, you're going to need a tetanus jab afterwards. So the rust is just awesome. So that's all thanks to the Dirty Down Rust. And I just love how all the other components sort of like work really well to give the overall effect here. From the barbed wire bits, the mesh on the windows, the old missing posters, and yeah, so definitely the graffiti on the top. Absolutely love how that's come out. And so the PVA glue's dried perfectly, and that's nice and sealed, and yeah, won't rub off anytime soon. So guys, let me know what you thought of this video, and if you want to see any more of these kind of videos of me trying new bits and pieces, and if there's anything you've sort of seen you'd like me to have a go at trying, yeah, by all means let me know in the comments. As well, like I say, this hobby is great for sharing everything, and just for trying out new sort of techniques, seeing if they work, and if not, well, trying again, or adjusting them to make them sort of work, or fit whatever it is we're doing. So yeah, cheers guys, there's another video on the screen, give that a click, see more what I do. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.